Welcome to the last day of 2020 with mtk-on-the-mic. Yes. I am MTK on the MIC. And it is, at last, the last day of 2020. Your so-called 2020. It is Thursday. Don't get confused. It's weird because the first is on a Friday. It is Thursday. Ooh, that's all so loud. It is Thursday. Tomorrow will be Friday. We will turn the calendar. To that, we have been saying, ring out the old, ring in the new, ring happy bells across the snow. The year is going, let it go. Ring out the false, ring in the true. Ring out the grief that saps the mind for those that here we see no more. Ring out the feud of rich and poor. Ring in redress to all humankind. Tennyson, as per dad. And it is Thursday, the 31st. It is the new year already in Australia, and maybe Thailand is probably getting it right around now. But it is 8:20 a.m. in California, 8:22 to be exact, 11:22 in New York, and 4:22 along the UTC line from Scotland to Ouagadougou, Sub-Saharan Africa, 4:22 on the last day of the year. Episode 20, the final episode of Last Day. The book that they should have charged me $100 for comes back into frame. Now, one of the cool things is that when you make the last episode, if you do it right, the way it's just going to be set up on the internet forever is this last episode, and the playlist will be first, and then 19 episodes will go back to number 1, and you can watch them over down to this one. And in the last 20 days, we covered a lot of things. We paid attention to the news. Things have been hectic. There are still threats to the sanctity of our government, seditious threats against our democracy happening openly and being dismissed by a structure that, sadly, over the last 25 years, people have lost so much faith in that they can be deluded, and it's nightmarish, the outcomes of that. We had a suicide bombing on Christmas Day, and no one's discussing it. We've had our entire government, including extremely sensitive areas of our government, hacked by the Russians. Openly, we know, and no one's talking about it. The success of the showman from TV, the P.T. Barnum, if that aspect of Trump was what was supposed to work for them, is working flawlessly as we proceed. But these 20 episodes have a lot of us talking a little bit about some of that stuff, and I'm glad. And we're ending the first 5 minutes on the last day of the year. And this is the book they should have charged me $100 for. I mean, look, it's 99 years or 100 years of moon phases. by Sage Liskey at Rad Cat Press. You should go buy one. I mean, it's going to be good till long after you're dead. So if we look in here at the full moon 2020, 2021. Now in this thing it says the full moon is December 29th. And my calendar over there has it as last night, the 30th. I'm going with this. I think that's because leap year was 2020 as well. Amidst everything else, it was a leap year. There's a funny story there. A breakfast spot I go to occasionally where friends of mine, chefs, and the staff are all good people. We were joking in early February last year that we were going to have a party on the 29th because, you can only have that party every 4 years. It should be a blowout. And then moments after joking about that, my dad died, COVID hit the nation, and what we've been living in happened. And then I saw her again and she was like, hey, let's never plan a party together. It's pretty good. So we're in a waning moon on the last day of the year. And I can get some matches to light some of these candles. I think that one's called, well, I moved it up the third track, and I'm not going to change those anymore because this is the last show. We're not doing this anymore, right? I think there was another one. Goodbye, 2020. We knew ye too well that we're done. Let it be done. Russell Peters is doing New Year's Eve. You should go online and find Russell Peters' New Year's Eve. Log on, pay the monies, and join Russell Peters, the comedian who's hosting a live, global, international New Year's Eve. That guy is in the middle of one of the most unique cultural things, I think. Russell Peters, a comic comedian. And he's got a New Year's Eve party. Look it up, Russell Peters, NYE. I haven't bought a ticket because I'm not sure if I'm going to even be awake. But the show is available online. So you can be at home like we're all supposed to be, and you can be chilling out. And you can, chill out with Russell Peters, which sounds really fun. And so I sent him a text because this popped into my head. I was like, when we can have cocktail parties again, and I say when because I'm assuming at some point Americans are going to get it and we're going to corral this illness. Or maybe I won't be here. Maybe I won't be in America. But when I'm at a cocktail party again, and I'm introduced around and we're all standing there, we're meeting each other, I know that in 2021, at least once to one person or some people, I'm going to say, when they say their name, say, hi, I'm Karthik. And then they go, hi, say their name. I'm going to say, yeah. And what would you say if Russell Peters asked you what your name was? Because a lot of his act is house lights up and just picking out the incredibly diverse people who come to his act to be made fun of. It's fun. It's lighthearted. It's about taking the piss out of your own culture. And Russell does it so effectively that people pay money to go sit there and have him tease them about their name and having to change it for the West or, whatever else. So if you have seen him, eventually someone's going to get that joke, right? They're going to say, Jimmy. And I'm going to go, yeah. And what would you say if Russell Peters was asking your name? And they'll say, Jana, or whatever, like Chinese name. Or so I encourage you all, in so much as I have encouragement, to go watch Russell Peters New Year's Eve. Actually, I may just get it now here shortly because it's already rolling in some countries. So the way he has it set up is that every country gets it right before a certain amount of time before the New Year's Eve happens, and every country thus gets it that way. So, I'm still 12 hours away or whatever. I'm not really, but later today I may just. I like the idea of bringing in the new year with Russell Peters. He's pretty funny. A lot of people find we're dancing on this line now, and I really want everybody to lighten up, and I really want everybody to realize that as Dave Chappelle put it, your brittle spirit has now gone too far. It's interrupting massive amounts of communication. I'm not opposed to expression, of course. Just saying we've got to be more sensible. I guess I'm getting older. And 20-year-old me would have kicked me in the balls just now. That's it. Didn't do this for y'all this morning yet. So I know I must look so ugly. The beard's going tomorrow morning. Oh, here's something I do. I don't know if you do this, but on the 31st of December and on the 1st, or like in Tamil New Year, on the 13th or the 14th, or like whatever New Year I'm celebrating, Chinese New Year, or if it's a religious holiday that I want to observe, or if it's something to clean me, right? It's I will do it the day before, like today, long hot shower, totally clean. And then tomorrow, on the first day of the year, same thing, long hot shower, totally clean. And I say that because, no, I don't shower back to back every single week. In fact, it's not sensible for a person like me with my carbon footprint and the amount that I interact with people and how energetic I am to do that. That's not necessary. It's one of the huge cultural bullshits that come with the post-50s USA, nuclear family, buy everything, have everything, make everything, and make it more just stupid of the end of the 20th century. Unnecessary. You're wasting water by doing that. You should be sensible about when you shower. But anyway, on special events, of course. So, and this applies way more, of course, now because we're all in quarantine. You're not going to see anybody for a week. You know what I mean? We've all joked about it. I'm saying even once we go back to, or let's start making the new, right? And the new should be like way less showers are necessary. Don't think about the amount of water going out. That's what I would say. In Dad's house where I am, it is epically beautiful from the standpoint of carbon footprint. He started in the 70s at the house that I grew up in. And then when he shifted to this one in the 90s, he made a place long before people were talking about it here, And I'm glad the millennials are into it the way they are. But the smugness, you got to drop the smugness. My dad had his own hand-dug compost pits here in the 80s, right? He ground his own, and he even roasted and taught me how to roast his own beans for coffee. He grew all his own vegetables. Many, many seasons of him not shopping for that stuff. So it's not about that you've had the new idea. It's that you're having the good idea. And you should embrace others in having the good idea and not be smug about having the good idea. So can we get some of that toned down in the new year? That would be great. Being in the middle, wanted to make this 20 episodes here at the end of 2020 to put a bunch of stuff in it to get it out. And one of them is, I'm 53. I'm sitting right in the middle, okay? And I've got you baby boomers above me, and I've got you millennials below me. They named me without me wanting to be named a name that doesn't even apply to me. They call me Gen X. And at the time when Copeland wrote the book, it wasn't even the best book about my generation. It was about a super specific, mostly white group of kids, So I'm in this constant grouping by the West that I've been hammering away at, and I've decided we have to weave that into what's going on. So one of the problems is that these folks can't communicate with those folks. They can't communicate with them. There's constant pocketing jokes going on, and the complaints, whether they're legitimate or not, are interfering with the capacity of us all to move forward. So I think we, 50-year-olds, is what I'm going to say now, just because I can't think of a better term, are going to take a slightly stronger role in 21. And we're going to tell some of these old folks to sit down and shut up. And we're going to tell some of these young folks to sit down and shut up. Oops. I mean, let's say weird thing to say, but I haven't done that. We haven't been doing that. We've been sidelining and watching and observing and showing up for protests when necessary and writing short pieces here and there. But as we get older, our society is now making us so neutralized, it's absurd. And that can't be how we proceed. Intellectualism has to have a transgenerational communication, must be increased and bettered. Okay, how did I try to do this last 10 years? I tried to be on Twitter, and I tried to be on YouTube, and I spent a lot of time with these kids who were on, Vaughn Live, JTV, these places, and we chat, and we talk about all kinds of things, and I try to introduce ideas, whether they mock me or not as a catfish or an older person is irrelevant. It's a dialogue space, but a lot of people my age they can't be bothered. They're so disgusted by and angry at the way the youth act, right? And the same can be said going every direction in this. So sitting in the middle for, say, my 50s, Dad's passed now, I'm operating with a new set of rules, and I want us all to pick it up in 21. Enough of the complaining, enough of the hand-wringing, enough of the, and we got to take these racists, put all the light on them, and talk to them openly and say, what are you talking about? Come on. We're not going to live like that. Not the way we've been doing it. And end the binary thing. The binary thing happened because you allowed them to create just two parties, which was just retarded. So stupid. And we all watched it happen for 25 years. We told you not to. We tried to resist it. The corporations have swamped the political process to demand it become that binary, shoved everybody into the two camps, and then just get what they want either way, really. We've got to get that crowd, Nancy Pelosi, please, come on, McConnell, God, don't you see? I guess you must feel titillated by the fact that people are talking about you. Is that what it is? But the way they're talking about you is with disgust and disappointment. You should be ashamed of yourself, You guys are so in the bubble that we're all talking about draining the swamp, hop the bubble. Well, of course we can't do that. That's not what we should be trying to do. We should be trying to reform it constantly, make it better, make it better, make it better. Instead, we're trapped in a sniping back and forth thing that's been created by and then now just, amplified massively by DJT being in the White House for 4 years. We've got to bring it back down. We got to bring it back down this year, 2021. I'm not going to operate like in fact, I mostly pulled out. I'm unplugging even more, but it's because that's not the way, It's not the way. It's not going to work. I had some content today, but now I'm hot. And I want to have my last day of the year. And instead, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to end with a video. And that video is going to be shown so that you can see it. In other words, I'm going to sign off. This has been MTK on the MIC. These 20 episodes will always be up on my channel. I'm not going to produce live anymore. It doesn't suit anyone. So I might throw up some stuff in the new year, but it's looking like around April 4th, Martin Luther King's assassination day by the United States government. Around then, I'm thinking I may turn it all off. I've got other things to focus on, and I have spent a lot of time here on all this stuff. And a part of my soul and who I am, my being, my essence, has been severely hacked. A chunk of it's been ripped out with the death of my father. And I have got to, really take a second here and pull this all together. This is not going to be something I want to rush, and there are institutions and things that I've got to get into place. I was going to give some recommendations last time. I guess I'm going to do that too real quick. The Ayad Akhtar book, Homeland Elegies, I spoke about it briefly here. I'm about halfway through, and it's just remarkable. Highly recommended. Please check it out. From the Homeland, I'm going into Ms. Majumdar's book next. Maybe I'll do some book reviews in January. How about that? I'll post some book reviews in January at 10:20. That'll be pre-produced. So there we have some content already set up for the new year. That's nice to allow us to have some continuity. Another thing I really want to, under that category of I wouldn't be doing, if I thought no one was doing it, I would go do a radio show of this type that I want to make. But someone is doing it, and he's doing it exceptionally well. He is my better. He is a really good both at the radio part of it and the history part of it. He's a little older than me, and he's an excellent progressive in the United States of America. And that is Tom Hartman, spelled THOM. HARTMANN. Tom Hartman and the Tom Hartman program, which emanates from Portland, Oregon, and which this year, amidst all this madness, climbed because people were desperate for sane information, good information that's caring about people, about the working class, about the poor, about women. He's a strong feminist about oppressed races and classes. He is an excellent historian on many topics, published author. You can buy his books. My thing I've been telling you all for years is I've been writing what I call a parallel history. Well, he's written books that are called The Hidden History. So he writes The Hidden History of Monopolies, his latest. The Hidden History of Capitalism. I forget what the other one is. I'm sorry, Tom, I don't mean to misquote your books. But what I like about that is that he's doing the show I would do. He takes calls. He's patient. You can call and he will listen to you and he will talk to you. And he'll respond with great historical examples. And I very much support Tom Hartman. So I hope you will, in 2021, every Monday through Friday, 11 to 3, you can do it. You can put it on. It's on YouTube even. 11 to 3, Monday through Friday. An excellent baseline for your socio-political thinking as we proceed through this pandemic. Who all lost someone this year? Raise your hand. Who all lost someone this year? Who all lost someone this year? Raise your hand. Now put your other hand up and let's put them together like this. Okay. Now let's close our eyes and let's quietly think about who all we lost in 2020, all right? Breathe and think only about them. Don't think about anyone else. And we're going to do that for 1 minute. And we're going to start right There were 300,000 plus other Americans like me who lost someone today, and I hope if you see this video, you were able to join me for even a brief moment of silence for your loved one. And I hope you can hear my message to you. The energy of the universe is eternal. We can see this and have known this for thousands of years. It is circular in nature, and you can trust in your heart that the energy of these we just thought about has returned to an eternal circular essence. That means our duty is the maintenance of the material world for the safe return to the eternal circular essence of as many souls as we can, whether that's plants and birds and animals included, like my father has done here in his ashram, whether that's your neighbor, whether that's your enemy, whether that's the Republican you're so angry at, or the Democrat you hate so much. We need to stop with the name calling, and we need to be loved and be loving each other. A lot of this has to happen from a change of frame of reference. And in 2020, the big items pointed at reference change about race. And ultimately, I think the best piece on this comes from 7 years ago. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put that on and I'm going to turn off all the lights. And this is how we're going to end the show. The last days of 2020 with MT Karthik on the last day of 2020.
A lot of people don't like my comedy. A lot of white people don't like my comedy. A lot of white people say this to me. Hey, Hunter. Hey, you get on stage, you make your jokes about white people. You say white people this, white people that. What if I did something like that, huh? What if I got on stage and I said, yeah, black people are like this, Muslims are like that. You'd probably call me a racist, wouldn't you? And I'd say, yeah, I would. Yeah, you should never do that. That's bad for your health. They're like, well, you do that, Amir. You do that. You get on stage, you make your jokes about white people. Don't you think that's a kind of racism? Don't you think that's reverse racism? I said, no, I don't think that's reverse racism. Not because I think reverse racism doesn't exist, right? If you ask some black and brown people, they'll tell you flat out, there is no such thing as reverse racism. I don't agree with that. I think there is such a thing as reverse racism, and I could be a reverse racist if I wanted to. All I would need would be a time machine, right? And what I do is I get in my time machine, I go back in time to before Europe colonized the world, right? And I convince the leaders of Africa, Asia, the Middle East, Central and South America to invade and colonize Europe, right? Just occupy them, steal their land and resources, set up some kind of like, I don't know, trans-Asian slave trade where we exported white people to work on giant rice plantations in China, just ruin Europe over the course of a couple of centuries, so all their descendants would want to migrate out and live in the places where black and brown people come from. But of course, in that time, I'd make sure I set up systems that privilege black and brown people at every conceivable social, political, and economic opportunity. White people would never have any hope of real self-determination. Just every couple of decades, make up some fake war as an excuse to go and bomb them back to the Stone Age and say it's for their own good because their culture's inferior. And just for kicks, subject white people to colored people's standards of beauty, so they end up hating the color of their own skin, eyes, and hair. If, after hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years of that, I got on stage at a comedy show and said, hey, what's the deal with white people? Why can't they dance? That would be reverse racism. Mother, thank you. You've been great tonight.
Amir Rahman. And I think that in the passing of George Floyd, I talked with many friends, many African-American friends, about what is going on. And I think universally there is a message from many of them who are savvy and who have known me as an ally for many years, that it's opening a crack. We've got to take advantage of that to really hip these people to a change in their frame of reference. And I really hope for that in 2021. I have some resolutions for 2021, but I've decided to keep those private. This has been the last day of 2020 with MT Karthik. Love you.